Vax has got bass. Mike and Jared have got percussion.
Yeah.
Vax is doom.
Vax was on the stand-up bass. Very nice.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, you're all a bunch of nerds. Y'all a bunch of nerds.
Dorks. They look like a bunch of dorks.
All right, so my new IFB is definitely very form-fitting. Oh my God. Ow.
Yeah, mine is a little too big right on the end here.
Yeah, right as
Oh my God, that hurts.
I know.
You want to share buds?
No, but thank you. I appreciate
So
that.
we actually don't use proper IFBs, which is internal foldback or internal feedback, depending upon which company you talk to. We actually use IEMs, in-ear monitors, because I don't like the look of the air coil that a traditional IFB uses. So
if I twist it a little bit differently, it feels a little bit better.
yeah,
But the way I
I just
originally
have
had
mine.
it,
Yeah, just like
slightly out.
I'm really comfortable with mine.
Good.
So.
Good. Says the man who cringes every time he's got to put it in his ear.
Well,
so
I mean, I'm not a
that's
big
saying
fan of
lot.
putting it in my ear, but once it's in my ear, I'm comfortable.
Good.
Oh yeah, mine is just a little bit extra rubby.
No comment.
Jesus.
Can't. I'm just going to be over here.
Yeah.
Oh, Vax, thank you so much for taking time out of your
Dude,
Saturday to come on the
seriously.
show and sending us all the footage.
Also, Vax,
Yeah.
some people in the chat room were asking if you have your own YouTube channel that they could see your footage.
I do. It's called Untied Music Studio, like untied shoes. Untied Music Studio.
Perfect.
And
Nice.
you can find it from my Twitter feed, which is Vax Headroom, of course.
Yeah. Nice.
And I posted a couple of videos up from that, and Donna showed some of those in the middle of some of the pre-launch shots were the ones that I had actually shot from around the pad. I went out with the rest of the photographers as they were setting up their remote cameras that would take pictures or video as the rocket was launching. But I was just shooting B-roll for you guys, so I was actually there as a reporter for TMRO.
Which I appreciate
And,
in a number of
so,
for
yeah.
a number of reasons.
Thanks.
And I also appreciate that you said B-roll because we were looking at your video earlier, and I was just kind of doing some things, and I'm like, who's that dude who's not shutting up in the background? And then like something happened, and all of a sudden Ben goes, "Oh, that's Tim Dodd," and I go, "Oh, for that, yeah, that is. That's totally
for
Tim
Pete's
Dodd."
sake.
Like, and he just did like the entire time.
Well,
so
he was
when you were like,
webcasting, to be fair.
no, I know, but I didn't.
But he was doing that for an hour.
Right. Poor Vax is like, yeah, and he's like 20 feet away. I'm like, you can hear him from 20 feet away? Good gods.
You know Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut. He gets
do.
excited.
I do.
He gets excited about
Well,
these things.
There he is.
He's
but I
so excited.
I love that Vax is like, I mean, I was there for you, but I was doing B-roll. Like, good, because I don't use any of that audio. Tim never shuts up. I love Tim Dodd.
Yeah, well,
Don't get me
the
wrong.
other B-roll that I posted of the pre-day shots, actually, there's no audio in there at all. That audio is that's all silent.
Right.
I did that deliberately. The microphones that I was using are Nakamichi, an old Nakamichi cardioid condenser mic, and it has a hypercardioid, so it's like, I don't know, 2.5 feet long. The microphones are like this.
And
Dang.
about
Right.
in a spread angle
So-
like so or so.
Yeah, like they're like
Spread.
45, plus or
Yeah.
minus 45 degrees. So yeah, they're really narrow, and you can't hear anything off axis. I mean, they drop off like 50 dB off axis, but
wow.
they'll take a very high pressure level. Like you can use those microphones inside of a bass drum.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, they'll take a
Dang.
really high sound pressure level, which is why I use them for rocket launches. So
Yeah.
the Antares launch that I shot last fall, and this one, and the Delta IV Heavy, EFT-1, all came out really good. I'm really happy with all those audio recordings.
I may have lost a few pad mics.
Can't imagine.
SPL
That's
on
weird.
launch.
No way.
Yeah,
What's
oh, I'm
louder,
sure.
Falcon Heavy or Tim Dodd?
Ooh.
So,
Poll, internet poll.
so I felt.
Falcon Heavy's longer. Tim Dodd burns longer.
There you go. I feel.
Yeah, right.
I felt really
He's more
bad
like an
for,
ion engine.
Yeah. I felt bad. I mean, at least Vax knew what he was getting into, going down to the media site, and as Sarah had kind of alluded to, there's no Wi-Fi down there.
Yeah.
Like it's
There's at the media site.
sure, but it's like an animal
You're right.
sanctuary, right, around these rocket pads, which is crazy. But I mean, brilliant, but crazy.
Yeah, everyone's like, I'm going to use my cell phone. And
Right, and you're like, no,
you
you're
are not.
Dude,
Good
I
luck with
went
that.
to Kennedy, and then on the way back, my friend and I, who I went with, we had to literally ask people, like, can you drive us back?
Back
yeah.
somewhere where we have cell service. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
And then
Yeah.
we eventually, since the traffic was so long, getting back from, I guess, the Playa Linda area back to Tustinville, is that what it's called?
Titusville.
Titusville. It was so long, and we had a flight to catch that eventually we just had to get out of the car and walk back because it was just so
Wow.
That's
crazy.
That
and
is
then people
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
so there's like a fork because over at Playa Linda, there's like the beach entrance and then there's Kennedy and there are police there and you couldn't go either way. And funny enough, even if you were walking away from your car, there's a cop that was like, stop walking, return to your vehicle. It's like, dude, we're just walking to the bathroom. Like, Jesus, like chill. And then, so there was another road that went back down to Titusville and so many people were leaving to go back to the main parking area by like, there's a bridge or something, but there are two roads and they kept like racing each other, but eventually it caused such a traffic jam that cars just stopped moving. And so walking was faster, which is pretty ridiculous, but it was still like an hour-long walk to go back to Titusville.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
easy.
Titusville's, and that's the other thing for those who have not been down to Cape Canaveral, there's nothing nearby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like...
Sure, there is. There's water and alligators and like
I found a
birds
dead
under protection.
armadillo. Do you wanna
Yeah,
see a picture?
there's all that kind of stuff for sure.
Right.
And
There's
that's- but
there's
that's
not
it.
infrastructure. Like, the
No.
nearest city is Titusville, which I believe is 10 miles away.
16.
Something like that. Yeah. You know, they may not be the nearest city because there's the little area where
Oh, like
where Jen
Cocoa and
is.
yeah.
No, Merritt Island. That might be closer actually, but it's still pretty far away. So yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You wanna do anything? You're driving for a bit.
Well, and out at the press site, there were over 400 credentialed media out there.
That's
That's
Yeah,
the
so-
Troll era kind of numbers.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it really was. The PAO, the NASA PAO people who were sitting in the press, building. SpaceX PAO was running the show, and they did a stupendous job. Hats off to those guys. They
Good.
did just great. But the NASA PAO people were just kind of sitting there hanging out, and so you could go talk to them. They were like, "Yeah, we haven't seen stuff like this in a long time." EFT1 was about that kind of level of interest, but not that much. Yeah,
So-
it was really cool.
So really
Vex,
quick,
you have-
PAO's public affairs officer. They're
Yeah.
basically the marketing arm of NASA, so to speak.
Yeah.
Vex, you have a very interesting perspective because Ben thought that you had gone to a couple of shuttle launches, but you said specifically you had only been to STS-135, which was the last shuttle launch, and now you were here
Right.
for Falcon Heavy, both times at the media site. So
Right.
So you said there was about that many people in the media building, but what was the rest of the foot traffic at the media site? Because when we watched, because you were with us when we watched STS-135 together,
It was insane in the membrane.
it was
so
crazy.
Insane.
It was crazy. But what you see what I'm saying? Like, what did that area? Because I don't think there was a tweet up for that because this wasn't a NASA thing for that. What was the rest of the foot traffic? Around outside, right? Like by the time clock and all that other fun stuff.
There wasn't very many people at the press site. A lot of people were out at the causeway. They
sure.
took buses full of people out to the causeway,
Right.
and then there was
it's better viewing at the causeway. It looks better.
sure, yeah, and a lot of and then they also took people to Exploration Tower, which is on the south side of Cape Canaveral, actually. More out in a public area on the north end of Cocoa Beach. So they had leased like a whole bunch of space in Exploration Tower.
That's cool.
And the SpaceX PAO people took reporters out there. So there was a lot of people who were elsewhere trying to, specifically if they were trying to capture footage, they were trying to capture the landings.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Sure, because it was such a, it was going to be quite a spectacle if it worked right, which it
Yeah,
did. So
yeah.
that was really cool.
Go ahead.
So there wasn't very many people at the press site. There was probably only 50 people around. There was
wow.
not that many. Yeah. And then they had the visitor center had sold tickets to an area adjacent to where the press site was, kind of as you're viewing the rocket off to our left. And there was several hundred people there.
Gotcha.
Is that
So-
over by the firing room, the old NASA firing room?
Don't know where that is.
Oh,
so
you
I
know
don't
what?
have
I know
it.
where it is. It's the.
It's that newer building.
It's right along the turn basin.
No,
It's
so
right
you,
adjacent.
yeah,
right
you
to
turn
our
right
left.
to go into the press site, but you can actually turn left into that one area that they started filling up for 135.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
so it's not by the firing room; it's on the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
So I.
But there was there was CBS. There was people there from CBS in Florida today, and
Cool.
the tops of those buildings where they have some of the buildings at the press site have like rails around them. You can go up on the roof. Those buildings were all packed, and people doing a lot of pickup stuff. Lots and lots of probably 15 or more media trucks there with big antennas and satellite dishes and all that kind of stuff, and people doing running commentary.
Yeah, those buildings
was
are
cool.
scary. I got word.
I've been up on the CBS building. Yeah, it's a little scary.
I got word from some people that the cast members at Disney World were allowed to be off, like step away from their job for a hot minute. I mean, if they were in the middle of something, they couldn't, obviously, but they were allowed to go view it if they wanted to, just
That's
sort of
really
go
cool.
backstage and watch some things. I also got word that the marketing sort of company inside of Disney is called Yellow Shoes. They're located a little bit off of Disney Springs, if anybody's familiar with that area, and they were also internally broadcasting the SpaceX webcast, which I thought was really cool. Got a couple of really interesting shots from there.
It's good to know Disney was watching my stuff.
Yeah, Disney.
Not just me; it's a team of people.
No, I know it was,
yeah.
but yeah, I thought that was really that's really nice and kind of cool. Like that whole everybody coming together sort of situation of like. Disney World. Disney doesn't have to do that, right, for their people. But they're like, look, if you're interested, just you can step outside, watch some stuff, and come back in, which I thought was
Great.
really, really cool.
Why aren't any rides running?
Right.
I want to go on Space Mountain. I don't understand.
I know. Could you imagine? Oh man, that'd be crazy pants.
What's that noise? Too far away. You wouldn't really. I don't think
No,
you'd
you
hear
couldn't
it.
hear it.
No, but that's.
I have friends down in Melbourne and Palm Bay, and they couldn't hear it from there because the wind was pretty strong out of the south, so it was blowing away from them. But I did see Pete rise it. I stopped and saw Pete and Karen and
How
the
are they
girls down there. They're doing fantastic. They just moved to a new house and really, really nice. And
So
yeah,
for
that's great.
For those who don't know Pete, we so TMRO funds Launch Library, which is what we use to run our calendar. And then if you've got an app on your phone that like lists off launches, there's like a 90% chance that they use the Launch Library API to pull that data for your phone app. And Pete is the programmer who made all of that go. He also helped us when we were known as Space Vidcast down in Florida, actually do live space shuttle launch coverage. And I believe he still has the high back chairs that have the Space Vidcast emblem on them.
director's chairs.
The director's chairs that we used that we would sit on for said launch coverage. Yeah.
I didn't see them when I was there. They're probably there. I didn't ask him about them.
Yeah. That's some old school stuff.
He
yeah.
did have them.
Pete is awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, cool.
We did talk about the Roku channel too, which is
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's right. The Space Vidcast / Now Tomorrow Roku channel, which
Yeah.
I don't think about too much because we don't have a Roku anymore.
Yeah, I
But,
know.
it should still be running.
Yeah,
he said it's still operational. Yeah,
I love it.
and he'd like somebody to take it over. So
I bet.
I'm sure. He's got a lot on his plate.
That's
Yeah.
funny. I
Excuse
don't
me.
want to kick Vax out, but I want to make sure that we are respectful of Mike's time if he
Yeah,
needs to go.
we do need to get Mike doing his spacey potty thing. So why don't we do that really quick, and then Vax, do you want to hang on for a little while longer,
Just
or do you
like,
want
wait,
to?
what are you talking about? I don't have anything else going on.
Well, let's.
That's right, that thing.
At a
You know
minimum.
what? In that case, let me take a quick break, and then let's come back and get that done. Sorry.
Okay, cool,
Yeah,
that's fine.
cool.
Yeah.
Be right back.
hey, do you have the footage, Dutta? Do you have the footage of Tim Dodd and I giving a shout out to the?
Oh, that's right.
the
We didn't air
Tomorrow
that.
Citizens?
Yeah, there's
Oh.
shout out footage.
I was kind of proud of that. It came out good. It's fun.
It's not lettered in the rundown, so I'll have to add it.
I don't think it's labeled as shout out or anything like that. I think it's.
I think it's just like Tim and Emery or something. I uploaded it. I don't know. I thought it was fun. I actually jumped into. He had to do a couple of things sometimes, like he was putting the suit on or changing headphones or something, and I actually jumped onto his live stream momentarily.
Oh, I love it.
And yeah, just kind of kept things going for a couple of minutes.
Nice.
Which was fun.
Oh yeah, there was a coffee story.
Oh, yeah. So talking about, I can't remember exactly how that came up, but talking about the Doppler and the changes in consistency of the atmosphere and how, because of that, you could tell, because of the difference of the Doppler, like coming back at you, right?
Like redshift and whatnot.
Right, that you could tell the difference in consistency was kind of what got me. Over last weekend, I had the privilege of being a judge for a barista competition. And there were a number of things that we were judging on, and one of them was consistency of the drinks themselves. So there were a number of times where drinks were presented to us in ceramic mugs, and so they would look correct on the outside, but it wasn't a tasting. Tasting wasn't part of the competition or part of the judgment. However, the consistency was. So if it said it was a cappuccino and it was put in a ceramic mug, or it said it was a latte and it was put in a ceramic mug, it could look nearly identical. So we literally had to take a spoon and set the spoon on top to see if the foam would hold the spoon, and then push back on the foam to see if, when you push back on the foam for the spoon width, if you got more foam underneath or if it was just liquid underneath, which would be the differentiation between a latte and a cappuccino. So when he said that, I was like, oh, now like I can see how that would make sense, because if the consistency is changing, or if the consistency is changing the same or is staying the same, then you could tell how thick or thin it was, I guess. It made sense to me. It made sense to me in that way. And so I wasn't going to go through all of that like during news. I was like, oh, okay, well, now I have a coffee reference, and that makes sense to me now, and I can understand it.
There's your shout out.
Yeah, from right here.
Perfect.
Yeah, actually, this audio will be good to go. Sweet. Shout out to the citizens of tomorrow from the press site. The Falcon Heavy just launched and landed. We had the greatest cool time. He was live streaming.
Oh my gosh.
And I've got great video and audio to upload. So you guys, thanks for supporting tomorrow, and we'll see you live.
Yes.
Woo.
All right. Let's go down here.
I love it. So cute. So cute.
That was really fun. And that was one of those microphones from 20 feet away.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wow, that sound on that was
Yeah.
great.
And that was direct to the camera and everything. I was completely unedited.
Did you have you must have had like a giant dead kitten on that, right? Like just like an insane,
yeah.
crazy.
Please
Yeah.
explain that term for anyone who's freaking out right now.
Well, you go and you
What?
skin-
Oh my God! You killed a kitten!
You kill kittens, you skin them.
Just saying, because it's not exactly an acronym, but it also is an insider term
Has to be a gray one though, right?
that makes you sound
Mine
like
are
you're
black.
crazy.
Think of it like a windscreen for a microphone. It looks like, and they're called. They actually look like dead cats when you put them on a microphone. I think that's where it looks like a dead kitten. But yeah, that's kind of the industry term. Is called.
Yeah,
dead
and
kitten.
I actually 3D printed a structure that slides onto the microphones, and then I take it's just faux fur, squares of faux fur that are, I don't know, about 9 inches square, 10 by 12 or something like that, and wrap them around that framework and rubber band them on.
Nice.
So there's a fluffy fur sticking out, and then there's a dead air space between the inside of that faux fur and the microphone itself. And that'll knock down a lot of wind noise. But even so, I had to put both those microphones. There's a photo on my Twitter feed of my microphone setup, and one of them was behind the red that you saw in the video was a blanket. It's actually an Antares blanket that we got from Orbital for one of the Antares launches.
Oh, I love
and
it.
the
That's
other
awesome.
was behind you guys probably seen my tan NASA jacket. So my tan NASA jacket was hanging on another piece of equipment with a microphone kind of hunkered down behind it.
Nice.
So, but both of them with these, black faux fur dead cat windscreens, they're about that big.
That is true. So I refer to it as dead kitten. That's because I use smaller microphones from Rode, and they call theirs the dead kitten. It's actually dead cat for the larger microphones.
Yeah, right.
No, it is fun to like go to B&H and search for dead kitten and get results. Also, yeah, promised a plant shot. So there you go. You got the lettuce on the left. Look, it's just like, and then all the different.
Yeah, you don't get a proper idea of it from that angle because you're shooting it from above, but sitting eye level, and it's like growing down the side of the.
Yeah,
That's a lot of lettuce. That's great.
I don't think I
It's
can
a
make it.
crazy
I don't
amount
think
of
I can-
lettuce.
That's a significant amount of bone in water. Thank you, Dada. Glad Dada liked that one.
I didn't get it.
So,
Jesus.
Woo! So we got a couple space pods. What else we got? Any other questions from the chat room that we're able to answer?
We are behind with sandwich making.
I do like Lars von Braun. Ben watches Disney. Disney watches Ben. I don't really watch Disney. I visit Disney parks, but I'm not really big into their movies much. My dad.
Right?
Dad dog, got anything in there you can smoke? I mean, strawberries, I guess.
I wouldn't vape strawberries. That wouldn't work so well. You could definitely do edibles with strawberries.
We've got
Sure.
we've got strawberries. We've
How'd you
got
eat 'em?
jalapeno. No,
Yeah.
red peppers.
Oh yeah, I think
Red
we went
peppers, and
red
then we've
peppers.
got some sort of flour,
I don't know
and
what's
then
over
lettuce. We've got an immense amount of lettuce.
there. Yeah, we
No, we are not growing oregano.
All right, I think we should. Now that we've got a space mic back, we should do his space pod really quick,
Sure.
and then Jared will transition over to yours, and then I think we might call it a day, unless anyone else has anything else. I'm crashing. I'm still exhausted. You know, I haven't been on the show
Can't
for the last 2
imagine.
weeks because I had been prepping for Falcon Heavy, and I mean, it's been nonstop for me. Just insane, crazy long hours. I think it ended up being worth it, but yeah, it was just a lot. It was a lot. All right, Space Mike, you ready?
I think so.
Cool. You're up.
Okay. Just a second here. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Tomorrow. This week, I wanted to talk about how the European Space Agency and Airbus have signed a partnership agreement to. Let me start over. Sorry. Blah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Tomorrow. This week for your Space Pod, I wanted to talk about how the European Space Agency and Airbus have signed a commercial partnership agreement to launch and fly the commercial Bartolomeo module to the International Space Station. This is your Space Pod for Tuesday, February 13th. Okay. So this is Airbus's new external payload hosting facility, which will be attached to the European Columbus module of the International Space Station around mid-2019. This project actually started several years ago and has been marketed by Airbus commercially since at least last year, where they've even signed up a few customers for its use. But this new partnership makes it official. The agreement defines the roles and responsibilities of the two partners, with Airbus investing around 40 million euros into the development, construction, and launch of this platform. And the European Space Agency is providing Bartolomeo's installation to the International Space Station. Bartolomeo will be launched in the unpressurized compartment of an ISS supply vehicle, most likely the Dragon, and it will be installed using the ISS robotics system and an extravehicular activity, or a spacewalk. And Airbus is then responsible at that time for all the different operations and payload integration. Now, these new commercially available opportunities are open to users worldwide and are coming in from areas that are looking at doing Earth observation, technology demonstrations, astro and heliophysics, material science, and all sorts of new different spaceflight applications and commercial missions, which is creating a cost and time efficient way for having institutional and private organizations bring their experiments into space as external payloads. Now, Airbus claims they can get payloads launched just 18 months after signing a contract, and then will manage most of the details from launch and installation to in-space operations, communications links, and even all the way to returning the experiment to Earth if that's required. Now, interestingly, it's actually named after the younger brother of Christopher Columbus, Bartolomeo, and it's going to hover 12 payload slots to the outside of the Columbus module, and all the different growing number of commercial space users that are looking at payloads in the 100 kilogram class is what's driving the demand for this. And the payloads don't require any hands-on maintenance by astronauts, and they can be operated outside the ISS. The platform that's been developed has recently passed a preliminary design review and is on track for launch in May of 2019. Now, the first payloads are then expected to be installed in the second half of 2019. And the kind of key to this service is they're developing this new attachment called the General Purpose Oceaneering Latching Device, or GOLD, and it's a new attachment mechanism for payloads in the close to the 125 kilogram range, and it's developed by Airbus's partner Oceaneering Space Systems in Houston, Texas. And the two companies are working on a way to what this new system would offer is be able to attach the different payload platforms onto this Bartolomeo module using the robotic arm instead of having to have any sort of EVAs or spacewalks to go outside and install new payloads. So I think that this is a really interesting idea, and I think that it's really...
Let's do that last paragraph again. Platform development.
Okay. Now, the platform development has recently passed the preliminary design review and is on track for launch in May of 2019. The first payloads are then expected to be installed in the second half of 2019. And the key to offering a service like this for smaller payloads is a new attachment that they're developing called the General Purpose Oceaneering Latching Device, or GOLD. And it's a new attachment mechanism for payloads of up to 125 kilograms and about 0.5 meters cubed. And it's developed by Airbus's partner Oceaneering Space Systems in Houston, Texas. The two companies are also working on the system to be able to have a way to attach the different payload platforms to the Columbus module using the International Space Station robotic arm so that they don't have to have any sort of EVAs or spacewalk to attach the payloads onto the Bartolomeo platform. So I think that this is a really interesting idea, and I'm very happy that this proposal is now official and is going to be installed onto the International Space Station. So I'm really excited for that. But in case you missed it, be sure to check out our last live show, Orbit 11.06, where we had a roundtable discussion talking about the successful Falcon Heavy flight and its future moving forward. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already, and be sure to tune in every Saturday where we're live at 1800 Coordinated Universal Time. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and if you're wanting to support us, you can check us out on patreon.com as well as makersupport.com/TMRO. Thank you very much for everyone's support, and until the next time, keep moving onwards and upwards, everybody, and don't forget, Ad Astra, to the stars.
Cool. Good job.
Cool. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but good luck with your space pod, Jared. Good show, everybody, and it's been one hell of a week.
Yeah, great job today, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Vax, again for coming on and for sharing your footage and everything like that.
Oh, that was fun.
All right, well, bye, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye, you too. Thanks, Space Mike. See you next week. And he's bars. He's gone to bars.
At least he didn't go to Plaid.
Spicy.
All right, we good to go?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So far, we've found nearly 4,000 exoplanets in our own galaxy. But are there planets outside of our galaxy? Extragalactic planets?
Pluto is a planet.
That's what?
Don't trigger him.
Stop it, Ben.
Pluto.
Stop that mess.
Pluto's a planet.
I think we literally had like a 20-minute argument about it in the car once.
Was that before or after I changed my mind?
I think it was before, but I don't know.
Probably. So, okay. So far, we've found nearly 4,000 exoplanets in our own galaxy. But are there planets in other galaxies outside of ours? It's a trope of science fiction, and as of a few days ago, it's a fact of a scientific paper. And this is your Space Pod for Thursday, February 15th, 2018. There we go.
Pluto.
Ben, calm down.
Pluto.
Calm down.
Pluto.
What's up?
Pluto flat.
Is Pluto flat?
Yeah.
Get the you know what out of here. So stop that. Stop that mess. All right, you ready? Oh, we're just gonna go straight in. So.
That's up to you. You want?
Yeah, let's go straight in. Let's just go straight in. That makes it a lot easier on me. So.
Oh, well then let's not do that.
All right, Ben, fine. I'll just say the first paragraph to the camera as I planned. Ready? Watch this. It's like, so. Einstein's theory of general relativity. I need to get a photo of that. That's pretty good. So stay there, Ben. That's a good one. How can I do my space pod when that's looking at me? This is why I miss my garage, because I didn't have this kind of stuff. So, anyways. Einstein's theory of general relativity, a hotbed of activity over the past couple of years, finally comes into play to give us a glimpse of.
It's a hotbed.
It's so hot right now. Einstein's theory of general relativity. It's so hot right now.
So hot right now.
It's so hot right now. Oh my gosh. So.
Jared, do you need a Perry?
No, I'm good. Thanks. Yeah. I'm fine. Thank you. Einstein's theory of general relativity, a hotbed of scientific activity over the past couple years, finally comes back into play to help us find extragalactic exoplanets. Now, this was a study that was done at the University of Oklahoma by postdoctoral student. Boy, did I blow that one. So, how do you pronounce that? Where's Mike? I should have asked Mike how to pronounce that. Xinyu.
Xinyu?
Xinyu? Xinyu Dai? Okay. Gotcha. I'll just go with that, unless the. That's a tough one. So. Xinyu. Okay, you ready? A study at the University of Oklahoma by postdoctoral student Xinyu Dai and Professor Eduardo Garris used a technique known to astrophysicists and cosmologists as gravitational microlensing. This technique looks at the light from a distant object as it is bent and focused by a closer object, but specifically without needing electromagnetic radiation or light of any kind from the lensing object in the foreground. Now, this allows for us to take precise measurements of small mass objects from very, very far away. In addition, the transit method of exoplanet detection was utilized, looking for the dips in the amount of light coming from a star as an exoplanet crosses its disk. Now, the galaxy being observed here, very aptly named RxJ 1131-1231, has a supermassive black hole at its core, and the microlensing properties of the supermassive black hole enable this observation to occur. Additional data was gathered from the Chandra X-ray telescope, and some serious crunching by a supercomputer at the University of Oklahoma showed the presence of exoplanets roughly the mass of Jupiter to that of Earth's moon, to the tune of nearly 2,000 unbound per main sequence star. Yes, 2,000 exoplanets per main sequence star. Now, this technique for observation is now available to astronomy as a whole. So telescopes such as the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope, its upcoming Extremely Large Telescope, and even NASA's James Webb Space Telescope can perform similar studies. Now, don't forget to check out last week's show, Orbit 11.06, where we talk about the epic Falcon Heavy test flight and what that means for the future of spaceflight. And if you'd like to, tune in at 1800 Coordinated Universal Time every Saturday to watch our live shows. So, until the next Space Pod, keep exploring.
Huge!
Do you want to redo that with like and subscribe?
Oh, you want me to redo that?
Ben?
I didn't hear what you said.
I forgot to say like and subscribe. Do you want me to go ahead and redo that? You sure?
Yep.
Okay. Also, my IFB battery died in the middle of that. My IFM.
IEM.
My IBM died in the middle of the thing. So
IBM.
that was interesting. So
I lost my IFB.
your mom's an IBM. So
Jared,
what's up?
what's happening?
Who's happening?
Your trolls?
No,
Oh, it just keeps booting us?
dumb.
Yep, I know. Got to keep refreshing.
Stupid dumb today. Stupid dumb today.
Screams.
I'm so done with this code.
This code's so hot right now.
13 times so far. Yes, I'm keeping track. Oh, it's yours.
Any final comments, everyone? Are we winding down? Any last stuff for Vax while we've got him? Vax, how many times have you been on the show? Do you have any idea?
I think this is 10.
Oh, we should have gotten you like a jacket or something.
Just give me a patch. I'll put it on my other jacket.
We'll do it tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh my. Boo.
Hey, I do have. Hey Ben, if you want to see the microphones, I have them. I went and got one of my hypercardioids here.
I mean, it's going to look
All
like
right.
a giant shotgun, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So this microphone is just a regular pencil mic, and this part of it from here to here is the normal capsule with the cardioid on the end of it. This then is the hypercardioid shotgun mic. So it's a monster, and so I had to make a windscreen that went from this. Can you see this opening here, from there all the way out to the end, and then sits off partly off the end of it. So, you know, it's a lot of weight, and I need to figure out how to lighten it up a little bit. But
Did you have it on a C-stand, or what'd you do?
I had a regular boom microphone stand.
Oh, sure.
And you know, that works fine. But yeah, 2 of those, point and down range. So
so traditionally the hosts on the webcast also wear hypercardioid lapels, which are kind of hard to find.
Right.
Most lapels, you don't want them to be hypercardioid because they're too focused. So if you turn your head too far, you fall off really quickly. But you know, it's really loud there because we're essentially right. I mean, we're basically in the kitchen, and everyone's like, "What are you guys in the kitchen?" And we're like, "Yeah, actually, yes, we are." So
What's all the clanging of pots and pans up there?
Are they in the cafeteria? Yes, that's exactly where we are. You know, we're like, all right, that's not going to fly. So if you notice this last webcast, we wore head-worn microphones. They weren't Countryman's, but they were also very, very directional. The idea being we could gain them way down because it's right next to their mouth. So at least you were able to hear talent. But I don't know if you could tell. They were still shouting, and you could barely hear them. That's how loud it was.
Yeah, I went back and watched the live web broadcast when I got back to the hotel on Tuesday night. Just because I hadn't seen it, right? I couldn't see anything, right? So we were watching that, and I was watching that at the hotel that night. And yeah, they were like talking really loud or shouting just to be heard over the crowd. It was crazy.
See, I didn't know I had my IFB back. I would have cleaned my ear.
Jared.
Oh my God.
So I had to figure out, it was interesting, I had to figure out how to pack these in a suitcase, right? So I found a heavy cardboard tube that would fit. I had 2 of them, and I slid it down the cardboard tube. So
TSA did not like my luggage when I went down to the Cape.
Oh, I bet.
They were like, what?
Well, they opened up my suitcase on the way down, but they didn't open it on the way back. And they left me a nasty gram in there that said, "We opened your suitcase because you didn't follow our rules." They didn't tell me which rule I didn't follow. They just said, "Go follow our rules." You know, there's 100 rules. I don't know. But they didn't open it on the way back, so.
They didn't open mine on the way back
crazy,
either.
you know?
But the reason they didn't open on the way back is because I left all my stuff at the Cape. So I only came back with clothes.
Your microphones cannot exceed 4 ounces.
So I did not bring one of these down there, but I've always hated the name weapon from the Red camera. Trying to travel with a red weapon, what a horrible, horrible idea that is. Like, they couldn't have picked a worse name for a camera.
Yeah, that's goofy.
Yep.
So here's the, I don't know if you can see the insignias on there. So there's the, that's the pattern.
Oh yeah.
On the hyper, right? And then there's the regular one. If I can find out where that
It's there.
graphic is.
There it is.
Yeah.
You had it.
Just as a regular
I'm pointing to a screen where you
cardioid
can see.
graphic.
Yep.
Now this last 1/4 inch up here actually unscrews and comes off, and you can replace that with an Omni capsule, right? These are really cool old microphones. They sell for about $100 on eBay, and I have, I don't know, 7 of them now or something. And I have 3 of these hypercardioid capsules. But they take a 9-volt battery that's like a fat AA, and
people know what 9 volts are, Vax. You're not that old. 9 volts are still a thing.
No.
It's a different.
The 9-volt is a weird battery. It's not a square.
Oh.
It fits inside this. It fits inside of here.
Okay? Copy.
So, right. So what we found from one of the Nakamichi engineers is that they'll actually sustain 14 volts. So I have 2 little 6-volt batteries inside of here, and I 3D print a sleeve to go on them and put that inside.
Will it take Phantom?
And no.
Oh, that's a bummer. I'd run them at a launch site if they took Phantom, but I'm not going to run something that requires a battery.
Right. So fortunately, these more modern, photodiode batteries have a really long life. So I can run them. I record my church services every Sunday morning with these, right? So the pastor doesn't have to wear a lapel mic, because he likes to walk around. And I don't have any wireless. We're just renting a facility right now. So I actually just point these at him. So he's like, it feels like I'm like being, monitored by the Empire or something. Like a probe droid, big black camera with these big microphones pointing at him. But the audio comes out great. But I've one set of batteries lasts me for, I don't know, months.
Really?
So.
You're not running them 24/7, right? You're just running them for a few hours at a time.
No, I'm running them an hour and a half a week. But for 6 months. So they probably have 30 or 40 hours in them. So. I just got to remember to turn them off afterwards. So, but other than that, they're cool, and they have a big following on the internet. So I actually sell those battery cylinders and the windscreens, the ball windscreens that go on the end of these have gotten kind of destroyed over the years. So I 3D print some ways to fix that up, and I sell them for a couple dollars.
All right, Vax, I think we are winding down. I think the show is completing. Hang on, I'll step over here. Anyone? Any last comments from anyone in the thing?
Goodbye, Internet.
Bye, Internet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bye, Vax. Thank you for your time on Saturday. I hope you had fun at the Falcon Heavy launch. I hope that was.
It was epic. It was really great.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I got to see my first Falcon launch, the one prior, the GovSat launch, because I had to be down there to set up for Heavy, and it just so happened that launch happened one day after my birthday. So otherwise, had that not happened, I would not have been able to be at the Cape because I usually have to be in Hawthorne for launches.
Sure,
But,
right, yeah.
You know, I needed to be there to get Heavy going. So yeah.
Yeah.
I was still on console.
Well,
Though.
we
That was
were-
the fun thing.
Yeah. Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
So they took the photographers out to set up remote cameras to like 5 different locations. So we were all around the pad, inside and outside the fence, and so I could see how much gear was set up there that belonged to SpaceX. There was cameras everywhere.
Did they bring you anywhere near the flame trench?
No.
I had some interesting stuff going on. Take a look at the webcast again and try to figure out how we got some of those angles and really think about what you're looking at. Like really, really look at those camera shots.
Yeah.
Really, really look at those camera shots and think about that for a second. Aw. All right, Internet. I think we're done. Thank you, Vax. Everyone have a great
Guys,
week.
thank you very much.
We'll see you next
everybody,
week.
Take care.
Have a good one.
All right.
Bye. And goodbye, Internet.